Okay, today we're going to talk about backtesting, and this is in relation to automated trading strategies, or robots, or cBots, or expert advisors that you're going to use in this case, it's with the cTrader or cAlgo trading platform. Okay, so I'll say what it says on the screen, and then have a brief explanation again. It says backtesting is the process of testing a trading strategy or an automated trading strategy on relevant historical data to ensure its viability before the trader risks any actual capital. Okay, a trader can simulate the trading of a strategy over an appropriate period of time and analyze the results for the levels of profitability and risk. What that's saying is that before you even think about putting it on a demo account or a live account, if you've just built or you've purchased or you've acquired a trading strategy, an automated trading robot, you want to test it using a backtesting tool. In this case, there's one built into the cAlgo trading platform with real data that's happened in the past to see if your robot actually performs how you want it to perform. This will highlight straight away if there's areas where you're going to lose a lot of money. Okay, it will tell you if it works or not. But as I'll explain later, back testing over a long period of time, like 5 years, might not. I just think it's very difficult to get a picture of what's happening on any robot over that period of time. Okay, because the market's changing cycles and it's very difficult, and I'll explain that later. Okay, I'll go down. Breakdown of backtesting. Okay, if the results meet the necessary criteria that are acceptable to the trader, the strategy can then be implemented with some degree of confidence that it will result in profits. If the results are less favorable, the strategy can be modified, adjusted, and optimized to achieve the desired results. It could also be completely scrapped. So again, what that's saying is once you've run your backtest, it will really help you identify areas in your strategy or your robot that are failing. So straight away, by looking at the historical data and the historical trades, you can see why it's closing early, why it's opening in the wrong time, and you can actually modify that strategy and build on it over a period of time, and then run another back test and improve the system till it gives you the desired results you want. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do now is go to cAlgo. So cAlgo is cTrader's trading platform. It's dedicated mostly towards algorithmic trading robots. They're called cBots in cTrader. And we're going to continue with the robot that we've explained previously, which is the clickalgo moving average crossover strategy, because it's the most easiest one to actually demonstrate, to be honest. As you can see on the chart, we've got two moving averages, we've got the candle action, you've got the candles and bars, and we've got the parameters for the moving average down the side. Okay, this is your robot. If you wanted to just run it, you just click on the start button there, and it will just run on fresh data and open and close trades. So what we want to do, we want to run this on historical data to see how it performed. Okay. Before I do that, because this strategy only runs on the two moving averages, it doesn't use the price. It doesn't use the candles whatsoever. You can actually remove the candles on the cAlgo quite easily just by going into the colors and changing the bull outline, bear outline, bull fill, and bear fill to the same color as the background screen. So I've done one already here. I called it MA crossover, and ideally that's all you want to see on the chart, really. So what I'm going to do now is go to the backtesting tab. So this is the backtesting tab for cAlgo, and I'm going to run a backtest. Okay, I can run it over the complete period of time. I'll do that in a minute, and I'll just run one. I'll just go through the parameters that you need to set for your backtest. So when you run the backtest, it will use the time frame, the symbol, and all the parameters on the left for the backtest. At the end of the backtest, you can readjust the parameters and run it again. Okay, so I'll start by the date range. Okay, so you can change the date range of the backtest. You can go all the way back. In this case, the data goes back to 2012, and you can run a backtest for this complete date range. I'll run one for that. Okay. You can also click on the icon here, and you can actually change the date here and be more specific what date you want, a bit more accurate. Then if you click on this little button here, it'll open up your backtest settings. Okay. You can type your starting capital that you want to use to start with. Okay. In this case, I'm just going to leave it at 5,000. For this symbol, currently with FX Pro, the commission is 45 per million, so I'm going to leave it at that value. And then the data, this is an important part. Now, these values do make a difference. If you choose one bar from server, open prices, I'm pretty sure it takes they generate one tick of open price per 1 minute bar. So every bar, it will just be the open price or the tick value of that bar. Okay. You can import CSV files. So because this backtester only goes back to 2012, you can actually go back 15 years and test data going back 15 years, and that gives you more of an idea how this symbol or instrument actually behaves over time. If you're looking at doing that, we do have another video on YouTube that actually explains how to import data. So if you have a look, I think I'll put a link at the bottom of this video. I'll actually put a link so you can access it. And we've also got a tool. So what it is, there's a website that gives away this data for free. You don't have to pay for it. It goes back 10, 15, 20 years for many different instruments. You download that data, you use some software that we've developed, and it will convert it to be used with the cTrader platform that you can then import by clicking on this button here, and you just pretty much navigate to where the CSV file is, and then you run the backtest that way, okay? So I'll put a link at the end of the video to help you there. Then you've got 1 hour bar. So again, it's just going to be the tick value of the open price of that 1 hour bar. Or you can choose tick data server. Before I go there, I'm just going to quickly explain. If you were to choose the 1 minute bars, it's a lot faster. So I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to do a back test with the 1 minute bar because it's a lot quicker. It's actually not going to get every tick of data. Also with the 1 minute bar, you can specify your spread. So the current live spread is 30. If I click on that, or 28, it's put it to 28, or I could have a random value between 1 and whatever. So with the open prices, or with using 1 bar from server, it doesn't include the spread. You have to manually set what you want the spread to be. I normally just click on what the current live spread is, okay, on an everyday sort of value, and I run the back test that way. I'm going to run this one first. So if I click on there, normally what it does, it actually has to load that data in, and it takes a lot of time. But I think I've loaded the data in previously, which I have. And then it actually runs the trade. It's simulating now, going back 6 years or so, this robot with these parameters running this. So when it's finished, okay, it's come back. It says it's done 57% increase. What I'm interested in is the trade statistics. I'm interested in a few values here, not just the net profit. So the net profit was 2,869, but I'm also interested in the maximum balance drawdown and maximum equity drawdown. This means that in that 6 year period that the robot ran, for example, at some point during that trading, the maximum amount of money that your equity or your balance was at risk was 14.6%. Okay. I normally trade around 5%, 10%. 5% is perfect, with a lot lower net profit, because our view is low risk trading, not a high risk trading. But depending on how you trade, you can run the back test. You can increase your lot size. So if you increase your lot size to 0.5, and I ran the back test again, you'd have a higher drawdown but a much higher profit. So I run it again, because the drawdown is going to be higher because your position sizes are going to be that much higher. So it's still running. It's doing pretty good. This is all. I haven't done these tests before. One thing I wanted to say about the MA crossover was we didn't optimize these parameters. They haven't been optimized. They just come out of the box. But everything we're doing today is just for demonstration purposes. This is not to say, this robot does come with these parameters, but it's not like you will make money out of this. It's just to show you as an example. You have to find your own parameters to run on this robot. And there's a separate video that explains this strategy in more details. But this video is just to show you the backtesting capabilities. Okay, so in this case, the profit was 14,339. Your starting capital was 5,000, but at any one point you were risking 28.64% of your equity. Okay, so there was equity at risk there. A quarter of your equity was at risk at some point during that period. You can also click on the log tab, and you can go through and step through the trades that have occurred and just see how they occurred and what was going on. Okay, and you can see the MA crossovers that occur where the positions open and close every time there's a crossover, where the fast and slow moving averages cross each other. It opens either a buy or a sell. In this case, on these parameters, there's no stop loss or take profit. It closes when the MA crosses again. Okay, and even so, even though you don't have a stop loss or take profit, you can see you can actually get a low drawdown using this. Okay, that's that. what I want to show you. Also, there's some important factors on here that we're covering in another area, which is the Sharpe ratio and Sortino ratio. Now, Sharpe ratio is quite important. I would look it up on the internet and just do some research on Sharpe ratio. That can be used in your statistics as well, okay? So that's showing you the 1 minute bars. Now what I'm going to do, because it takes too long to do tick data, I'm going to go back, I'm going to go to 1 year of data. So I'm going to go to February. I'll go to February the 7th, okay, to February 2018. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose tick data. Now if you notice, the spread is gone because the spread is included in the tick data. This is much more accurate data. But to be honest, a lot of the backtesting that I don't do tick. I just do 1 minute bar data. I run it on I backtest it, and I don't backtest the whole date range. I normally only backtest 1 year because the markets change in cycles. That's my belief. And I then run that on a demo account, and I compare my backtest results to my demo account results after a 3-month period and see how accurate they are. And that gives me some idea if the backtest is accurate and how my robot is performing. Okay, so first thing I do is do a back test, then I run it on a demo account, and then if everything's good, you put it on a live account. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is tick data. This should take a bit longer because it has to load the tick data. I hope not. I did run one previously. Yeah, it has. It's got to load in 377 days of tick data. Okay, while that's happening, I can actually explain a few things. I can actually stop this halfway through actually. While that's running, what can I explain? If I lost my stats, yep, I've lost everything. Okay, we're going to let that run. I'm going to try and decide what to talk about right now while that's running. Okay, so the idea is that when you get your strategy, you want to run it on a back test. If the results are not very good, simply modify your results and run it again. I prefer then, once I've run a back test, for example, for this date range here, and I've got parameters that give the half decent results, I would then drag the slider to a completely different date range. So it's completely fresh data, and I would run that strategy on that fresh data to see how it works, because that'll give you an idea if it would work on different time frames. One other thing you can do also is to optimize this strategy, okay? And there's another video that we're going to do after this that's actually going to explain how to optimize your parameters and then run a back test, and then optimize and run a back test. So with optimization, which is this tab here, and we're going to cover this in another video, this will allow you to kind of fit your data, or your parameters, sorry, fit your parameters to the data for that instrument or symbol. And then what that will allow you to do is to make sure that you've got the right settings for that symbol. It doesn't always work. You can't expect it to work, because it's okay if you want to say pick out the best moving averages to use for a particular symbol, okay? So this has finished the back test on that date range now, and that's on tick data, okay? That's come back with 69%. Trade stats, yeah, it's still the same. So it's not much difference between the two. You can see it's only it traded 53 trades in 1 year, so that's 1 trade a week. It's a slow trader. It doesn't trade a lot. You don't need it to. You just need something that doesn't lose your money and is quite consistent, okay? So that's with 1 minute bar data. That's back testing in a nutshell, really. There's not much else I can tell you on back testing other than, let me go back to 1 minute bar. There's not a lot I can tell you about that. I'm just going to run a 1 minute bar over a shorter date range, just a random location. The only thing I'm going to say is that, you know, it's definitely worth doing a back test and running it, and it's definitely worth using our back test tool to, you know, analyze more data as well. So this is quite good for this symbol. I think everything's okay. So the next video you're going to look at after this would be optimization. And the optimization video will actually relate to this video, because you'll be optimizing your parameters, then you'll be back testing them. Then you'll be optimizing them, then back testing them. Then you'll be running them on a demo account, okay? I hope you find that useful.